Good morning. Yesterday we have discussed regarding the general principles of metallurgy. Today and also yesterday we have discussed regarding the different processes in which the iron or the ores which can be concentrated in different processes. Today we shall discuss a 4 marks question, very important, generally frequently asked in the IPE from this chapter, that is the difference between calcination and roasting. Differences between calcination and roasting. Let us discuss what is calcination. So first of all, what is calcination? We have to know the definition of it. For the definition, they are going to give 2 marks, and for each of an example they are going 2 marks for the definition and 1 mark for each equation and 1 mark for equation. Totally 4 marks. If it is asked for 4 marks. If the difference between calcination and roasting is asked, we have to write the definition of the calcination and 1 example, definition of roasting and 1 example. So what is meant by calcination and roasting? Why we should to do it? Mainly, what are the ores that are available here? These ores may not be directly used to extract the metals from them. So the metallic ores have to be converted into its oxides ores, because carbonate ores and sulfide ores may not be possible to extract directly the metal from them. So we have to convert the ores to their purest form of their oxides. So for this purpose, 2 processes are there. The first one is calcination. So calcination is a process in which the ores of that metal, particular metal, has to be heated to the highest temperatures without any oxygen or else very limited supply of oxygen. Such process is called calcination. Once again I am discussing the calcination. The heating of the ores to maximum temperature without any supply of oxygen or a limited supply of oxygen. Such a process is called calcination. So the motto of doing this calcination is to convert the other type of ores, that is oxide ores or else any hydrate molecules present in that ore, may be converted into the purest oxide ore forms. So let us discuss some examples. Here you see this is Fe2O3XH2O. What is Fe2O3? We have studied the ore name is hematite actually. So this hematite, when it is having, this is a hydrated molecule. It is a hydrated molecules here. So it is a solid form. When it is heated without any supply of oxygen, we are going to get Fe2O3 purest form as a solid, and hydrogen, that is water. That is water molecules will be evaporated in the form of vapors. The second example you observe, this is a carbonate ore. This is a carbonate ore of zinc. So in this direct carbonate ore cannot be used to extract its metal from the carbonate ores. So what we have to do is we have to heat to the maximum temperature without any supply of oxygen or else very limited supply of oxygen if necessary. So here it is not necessary. We are not supplying any sort of oxygen here. Directly we are heating. So the carbonate will be decomposed into carbon dioxide and one of the oxygen atom will be along with the zinc here. So it is a zinc oxide. It is an oxide ore. The final motto is directly you can observe it is an oxide ore. This is an oxide ore and this is also an oxide ore. Previously these were carbonate ores or else any hydrate molecules present. So we want the purest form of the oxide ores. So we have converted their ores in other forms to their oxide ores so that we can easily extract that metal. So this is one type of process called calcination. And the second process is roasting. Roasting means, general name we can easily understand in the certain dishes we can see directly while we are frying or doing like that. Heating is nothing but roasting. The main difference is here we won't use any oxygen. Here roasting involves excess amount of oxygen while they are heated. So here also we have to heat. Without heating, this process will not be followed. So here roasting is also involved with the heat along with the supply of excess of oxygen. So this is a difference, roasting and calcination. So observe the examples here. This is zinc sulfide. Okay, so this zinc sulfide, when it is roasted, that is when it is heated with excess amount of oxygen, that is 3 molecules of oxygen versus 2 molecules of zinc sulfide. You will observe there. This is more, that means excess. Excess of oxygen is supplied to zinc sulfide and it is heated to get its oxide ore, and the unnecessary sulfide compounds will be gone in the form of gases. So observe all the 3 types of examples. It is very easy to remember this example. Zinc sulfide, 3 oxygen molecules, 2 zinc oxide, 2 SO2. And next equations are similar. These 3 equations will be similar. Instead of zinc, we are replacing lead and copper. So in such a way the roasting. So if you write in detail like this, you are definitely going to get 4 marks, and this is a gunshot question generally asked in annual examination. Sir. So next, so in continuation with that, this is also a very important question generally asked in 8 marks bit as a or B, or else for the last 5 years back or 6 years back, if you observe, they will be used to ask the same question for 8 marks also. Recently in these recently 5 to 6 years, for the last 5 to 6 years, they are asking in the section 3 set, that is section 3, in which 8 marks will be there. In each question A, B will be sets will be there. In A or B, the choice will be given here. So this is extraction of iron. So previously we have seen how to concentrate. First we have to see the ores, we have to concentrate the ores, purify the ores. After that we have to convert them into their oxide ores. So meanwhile, while converting these oxide ores, this is a process in extraction of iron. So in this process we will extract the iron. For this process we will use a blast furnace. This furnace is named as blast furnace. This is used, and it is a use and throw furnace. Why? Because at the highest temperatures this furnace will be used. At 2170 Kelvin, whatever the walls which are made by whatever the strongest cement you use, it will be useless for the next purpose, because the internal molecular attraction of the material with which it is made will be destroyed and it is useless. We have to build a new one. So this is a use and throw furnace. It is a blast furnace in which you see on the top, you can easily observe we have a funnel type of structures here. It is from these structures, this is the entry of the material, that is ore, whatever the ore we are taking, iron, hematite, magnetite, siderite, whatever it may be. So next is limestone. Along with ore we have to add limestone and coke. For what the coke is? Coke is the best fuel for the highest output of heat from that. So these chemical reactions are involved with the highest heat and temperature. If you observe the diagram here, you are easily able to point out the temperature here. In the upper section of the furnace, the temperature will be nearly 1070 Kelvin, and the next stage it will be increased to 1270 Kelvin, and it will be further increased in the third stage to 1570. Later on, when the molten iron, that is slag, this is a slag means along with impure iron. Slag means it is a form of impure iron which is being removed from the layer by layer from this outlet, and the molten iron will be removed in the next outlet. So here it is very simple process. It is very easy to explain. It is very easy to explain, just like a story. First we have to do, this is a blast furnace. We have to write the heading extraction of iron. Next blast furnace. It is very simple furnace. You can easily draw it on paper. If necessary, draw it. If you are unable to draw it, but equations are compulsory and explanation is very much important. So explanation, if you understand, you can. You see here, we are using limestone. What is limestone here? Calcium carbonate is the limestone. So at 500 Kelvin to 800 Kelvin, the temperature when it is 500 to 800 Kelvin, the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide will be exhausted. That means the gases will be released and they will be outlet. They will be given outlet from there here. So they will be released like this. So when the calcium carbonate is heated from 500 Kelvin to 800 Kelvin, it is calcium oxide it is formed and carbon dioxide is being released. And the second where we are using over here Fe2O3. What is Fe2O3? It is a name of hematite. We have studied the ore of Fe2O3 is hematite. When it is reacted with carbon monoxide, from where the carbon monoxide is released, here already we have seen the exhaust gases, carbon dioxide, and sometimes you see here how the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Here the carbon, excess carbon from the coke will combine with carbon dioxide to form carbon monoxide. Such type of carbon monoxide gas molecules which are present here, they use to combine along with hematite and we are going to get magnetite here. This is a ore called magnetite we have studied. Fe3O4 and carbon dioxide is released. So this is iron ore and this is also iron ore. So in this, why? Because Fe2O3 is in the Fe2O3 is maximum present in the nature when compared with Fe3O4. It is a meanwhile it is an intermediate product. It may be existing very less quantities in the nature. So further Fe3O4 when it is combined with further carbon monoxide, it is going to get FeO, that is oxide ores here we are getting, and carbon dioxide. So how many oxygen molecules are present in FeO? Here it is only, how many oxygen atoms are present here? Only one oxygen atom, and this one oxygen atom will be combining with one carbon monoxide to give carbon dioxide, and the remaining is iron we have got. So like this carbon dioxide once again combined with carbon to give carbon monoxide. Once again, what is going to happen here? The calcium oxide which is present in the iron, it may not be helpful for the iron. But because calcium oxide, it is in a powder type of structure, it will disturb. So it is once again combined with silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide present in the limestone itself will be combining with calcium oxide to give SiCO, CaSiCO3, that is SiO3. Ca, calcium silicate, that is slag. Here this is molten slag. This will be removed from time to time. And after that, we are going to get iron like this. These are the main important equations related to. And one more thing is, coke when it burns, it gives carbon. Coke, what is carbon? It is carbon is nothing but coke. Coke is another form of carbon. When it is oxidized to give carbon dioxide. Okay. So once again, iron oxide, why we have got here, there is another equation related to that. FeO plus C. How many oxygen atoms are there? One oxygen atom combined with one carbon atom to give carbon monoxide, and iron we have got. In two equations, we have got iron. So this is the best process in which we are getting, in different two types of equations, we are getting the iron. The molten iron we have got here will be removed from time to time. This is a method of extraction of iron. Just remember the equations and the diagram and what we are using from the top, and where the temperatures are varying in between, and what are the different types of layers of the extracts here. The upper one is a molten slag, the down is molten iron. This is what we get. So this furnace is already we have discussed. It is a use and throw furnace because at 2170 Kelvin, whatever the material with which it is made, it will be deformed. Its energy will be destroyed, and attraction forces among the molecules of with which it is made up of will be destroyed, and it must be broken and once again. So this is a method of extraction of iron from their ores. This is an important question regularly asked. So next question. Pass this is the next thing. So now this is a very important question. This is also specially asked. In this, one more important point is, this is cryolite, sodium aluminum hexafluoride. So this cryolite, regarding the cryolite also they are used to ask a 2 marks question in the annual examination. Moreover, for 4 marks, the complete extraction of aluminum will be given. So in 4 marks question, very important and very easiest question. So in this type of extraction, generally we use only electrolytic cell instead of, we cannot use blast furnace because it is for highest temperature extractions. Here temperature is not needed. Only by the supply of electricity we can easily extract the required aluminium metal from that. Okay, here we use electrolytic cell. So the cell comprises of a steel vessel with carbon lining inside. A steel vessel with carbon. Why the carbon lining means? Here it is a molten Al2O3, it is a metal here. So metal already this molten Al2O3, and so this is also ionic product, whereas this is cathode anode. If the conductivity is more, the cell won't work. So the carbon lining is given in such a way that the passage of electricity may be stopped, because carbon is a good inductor instead of conductor. Understand? So a graphite anodes are placed with the help of a copper clamp, and this copper clamp is used as a anode here. So the complete cell is being built here, and here what happens, the molten Al, what is Al2O3 here? It is nothing but a bauxite ore. It is an oxide ore of aluminium. It is a bauxite, and this bauxite directly cannot be kept inside this vessel. Why? Because it cannot be fused. This bauxite is not a material in such a in room temperature, it won't mold. It won't melt. Actually, to melt Al2O3 at room temperature, we have to add this material that is called cryolite. Its name is called cryolite. This is used only to increase the conductivity and as well as to fuse the molten Al2O3 at room temperatures, so that the process may be taken very easily. So this is the main, this is 2 marks question. They will be generally asked why cryolite is being added in the bauxite for the extraction of aluminium process. So the main reason is the cryolite is used here is to conductivity, to improve the conductivity. Why? Because electrolyte must be a conductor. If it is not a conductor, we are not going to use it as an electrolytic cell. So to increase the conductivity of the molten bauxite and as well as to melt Al2O3 at room temperatures, this process, that is cryolite, is as added in this bauxite. So when the bauxite, when added with cryolite, is being introduced into this cell, what happens? It is, once again it is connected to the electricity or bias. We are going to get the molten fused Al2O3 NaAlF6. Here what happens? These following reactions, that is, these are the cathode reactions. And what is cathode? Cathode generally it is having negative charge. That means it will be having excess of electrons. So aluminium, what happens here? Aluminium will be decomposed to, you see what happens, Al2O3, how they are going to become. Al2O3, they are going to become as 2Al plus 3 plus 3 by 2 O2 minus 2. Or as 3O minus, we can also write it as a 3O minus 2. So this O minus 2, here it is once again combining with carbon present inside the graphite, that is anode. Anode is nothing but graphite, graphite is nothing but carbon. So at cathode, these Al plus 3 ions will be combining with electrons, and the molten, that is aluminium, will be deposited at the bottom of the electrolytic cell in the form of molten form, and it can be taken out using the outlet of aluminium. So in anode, what happens, the remaining part, that is oxygen ions, whatever it may be, these oxygen ions, they combine with the graphite and they are deposited, that is the carbon, it forms as a carbon monoxide and the gas will be released, and when 2 atoms of oxygen combine with carbon to give carbon dioxide by releasing 2 electrons. So this is a method in which the aluminium is extracted. It may be asked for 4 marks, and for 2 marks cryolite usage in the extraction of aluminium. Thank you. So the next topic is refining of metals, in which some of them, that is electrolytic refining, zone refining or coaling, this type of questions are being asked in your annual examinations. For that purpose, I am telling all the types of refining methods of the metals. Why to refine the metals? Whatever the metals we are extracting from their oxide ores, by electrolytic blast furnace or reverberatory furnaces, there is a necessity of removing the extra impurities that are maybe carbon, maybe whatever the impurities present. It may be some traces, but even though we can make them more pure and more best form of the original metal. So first process is distillation. For these processes, low temperature mold melting metals will be used. That is, we know what are the lowest temperature melting metals. Mercury. The mercury is the only metal in the room temperature, it will be in the liquid form. The remaining all metals will be in the solid form. Take sodium, it is very smooth that we can insert our nail into it. So such type of metals are also there. Such type of metals, when they are heated to their, to their distillation temperature, they will be evaporated, and the purest form of elemental, for example, we can draw a diagram. Take this vessel here. In this, you are going to heat here. Take the molten metal here and heat it. What happens? It will be vaporized. And what happens? It vaporized. Take a stand here, kept a sheet inclined, and whatever the vapors they are connected on the inclined plane will be liquefied and collected in another. This is the purest metal, pure metal. So this is called distillation process. What we are doing, the distillation means take the metal what we are extracted, further heat them. These metals must be very soft metals and not just like iron or else zinc or else. So very soft metals which can be easily melted. Such type of metals, they can be fused and afterwards increase the temperature, they will be evaporated and the inclined plane and collected as a pure metal. This process of purifying is called distillation. And the next process is liquation. So this process is used in refining the impurities which are higher. That means their temperature will be more. Melting temperature will be more. Take some, for example, you take lead. Lead is very easily melted at the room temperature and more than room temperature, just to increase some temperature. Generally we use lead in the electronic soldering irons. Just you put the plug and just you put that electronic solder iron to the lead wire, it will automatically melt. So such type of metals will be having other metals, hardest particles, which cannot be melted at the same temperature of that metal. So for another purpose, take an inclined plane, put the metal here, heat them. So the liquid metal only melts and will collected here. The impurities will remain on the inclined plane. So this type of method is called liquation. Just we are making it as a liquid, that's why it's called liquation. The solid material or solid metal, we are making it to melt. That melted liquid will be collected as a purest form, and the which are not melted impurities are being separated on the inclined plane itself. So this is one type of method, liquation. Next is electrostatic refining or electrolytic refining. So generally aluminium we have seen, the aluminium what we are collecting there may be some traces of carbon or silicon or whatever it may be, some traces of impurities will be present. So to remove that impurities also, once again take an electrolytic cell, conduct these graphite rods as anode and keep the molten metal here. This is a molten metal, connect with the current. What happens here? Once again, only the metal ions, those are aluminum, maybe copper, whatever it may be, they will be collected at the cathode. Why? Because they will be having always, they will be in the place, that is cation. Cationic. All metals are generally, most of the metals will be cation. Calcium you take, copper you take, understand? Or else aluminium you take. These are all cations. These cations are positive, which are attracted by the cathode, and they are grasping some electrons and getting into the purest form of their metals. So there we can get the purest form of electrolytic refining process metals. And the next is zonal refining. Here zonal refining, it can be used further in a different way. A glass chamber will be used inside. So some rollers will be used, and over the rollers you kept the rod of that metal. You keep the rod of that metal, and this complete vessel will be, that means this rod will be heated so that it can become somewhat soft, and what happens on these rollers, when the rollers are moved from here and there, the denser particles from here will be collected somewhat in here. The denser impurities, whatever present, will be collected somewhat here, and the purest part, this will be broken or cut with some other metal, and this purest will be taken, and the impure material which is further they will be used for another processes, so that can be refined. So this is zone. This is a zone. This is a glass zone in which for the rod which we are taking, the metal rod is heated to some temperature. After heating the temperature, when it is these rollers are moving from here and there, the rod will be moving from here and there. So what are the denser impurities, they will be collected in the middle of that rod automatically. So this type of zone refining. And vapor phase refining. So vapor phase refining, this is such a type of refining in which this can be named as a poling also. So meanwhile, poling is also such type of vapor phase refining, even though poling is regularly asked. The vapor phase refining means most of the metals having impurities in the vapor forms. That is, some gases will be, some cavities will be there inside the metals. While forming, some blisters will be coming up. In that blisters, there may be some traces of gases. So for that purpose, when the metal is heated, the metal will be more melted, and the cavity bond gas particles or gas molecules, whatever it may be, they will be evaporated automatically. So this type of vapor phase refining. And last one is poling, very important. This will be regularly asked, and for this we use poles or sticks. The sticks, green sticks, that means which are having some moisture inside that sticks. That means live plant sticks can be taken. Live plant sticks that are taken, that are used generally, the copper is taken. You take a vessel of copper, we have extracted from different methods. This copper, when it is fused inside, some gaseous cavities will be, or any other cavities will be present inside. By using this type of poles, take two poles and you just stir with that poles. The poles are having some water molecules inside them, and these water molecules will be connected with the vapor phase, and whatever the impurities that are present in the copper, they will be taken outside from the holes of the poles or from the gaps formed by stirring. So this is a poling method in which we can refine the metal. So this type of, and blister copper is a general question what we ask in annual examination for 2 marks. So blister copper, why the blisters are being found on the copper? After obtaining the purest copper, here the blisters will be coming. Blisters are like this. Why the blisters are coming? Because by the means of purification or refining of the metals, we use different processes. The cavities that are being captured by the gases and impurities, they will be gone outside, and blisters are formed on the surface of the copper. So this is nothing but blister copper, or as the purest form of copper. It is nothing but, it is the purest form of copper, that is a blister copper. So this ends with the refining of the metal. So this is the complete chapter, is the smallest chapter, that is general principles of metallurgy as per the IPE concern. The important questions and answers have been discussed in this chapter, which are regularly recurring in the IPE examination. Thank you.